Hey guys, thank you for joining me for another episode of Mechbay Dios. Today I'd like to share with you guys a diorama that I made a few months ago, March to be exact. And I was just busy at the time participating in the ACBA Photo Combat Challenge that I just didn't have the time to actually, document my progress and how this dio was built. And so you're basically seeing the kind of like the finished product right now. What's special about this diorama is the idea that I made both those main pieces right there, the structure, to be reversible. And I'll show that to you a little later, because I'm gonna go kind of like individually on the kind of like the main features of this diorama, and I can show that to you. But yeah, overall, um, you'll be able to move those two structures pretty much anywhere from this base platform, and create different scenes as you see fit, basically. You could adapt this to your settings that you're trying to do. And like I said, you could also bring in, if you have other dio pieces, you could bring them in and kind of combine this reversible dio setup and create a larger scene, just to change it up and have a different look every time you take a shot. All right, and it's the base is fairly big. I actually end up using the standard size of the 2x2 insulation foam. So I just used that size. I didn't cut it or anything. So the base is kind of big, but the structures are again, like I said, they're not magnetized at the bottom, so you can move them around, but they are magnetized in the corners. So if you want to store this, you can easily collapse them and store them. For now, let's go over some of the main features. So first off, let's talk about the base for this diorama. Again, I mentioned that this base is sized 2x2, so it's pretty big. You'll be able to use this and have multiple figures occupying this. And like I said, it's big enough so that you'll be able to use the structures that I created, that you can like move it around pretty much anywhere and create a scene that you want. So like one of the main feature of this base is this impact damage design that I did, and I really like how it turns out. As you can see, I added a lot of detail in there, craft sand and kitty litter debris to kind of like mimic the some of the kind of like tiles that got damaged and kind of like scattered all over around the impact area. But yeah, just to share with you guys the details. Yeah, it's pretty Yeah, I put a lot of detail on this. I mean, it's just a base, and probably usually the paving is usually the less detailed most of the time in a dio setting. But I usually like to add characters to my paving, just to give a little bit more um, realism in the overall design of the diorama. So along with the structures that I made, I also created several accessories that I can use for the diorama. And as you can see, I have like several accessories over here. And for this one right here, I made cinder blocks accessories. They're about, I think they're 2" by 1" by 1" dimension. And I also made like a half cinder block. So just to give variety. And actually, in a real world setting, I mean, there's also cinder blocks that's kind of like this. Like the ones that they usually use for like columns. Sometimes they use the single cinder block like this. Usually they use the bigger ones like this, the full size cinder blocks for walls. Kind of like that. So yeah, I like how I made this. And yeah, these are just basically made from insulation foam, and pretty much the same thing for the other ones. They're all insulation foam. As a matter of fact, these are the scraps foam that I have normally. When I make dioramas, when I cut and stuff, I end up having little bits and pieces of extra foam that I usually put aside. And for this kind of use, they'll come in handy. So if you're doing a lot of dio work and you're throwing away those extra foam, then shame on you, because yeah, you could just keep those and use them for like other purposes. And yeah, like for example this one, and I have another accessories that I made in here. These are concrete columns. Basically, they're like, used to be maybe in a building or something like that, and just got damaged and fell off. And I even added some reinforcing steel that you normally see inside concrete structures like this. Normally it's reinforced with like metal rods actually. And that's what they look like. So I just mimic them. And then the other one that I made right here is kind of like a those metal H-beams. So again, they're just like little pieces that I can use as accessories. I also made this kind of like double-sided debris that I can use with my structures that I have, like the damage, for example. Again, I added those reinforcing steel rods in them just to make it a little realistic. Yeah, and again, these are just scrap foam. And other ones that I made in here are just basically like rubbles right here. So rubbles, kind of like just a wall concrete wall that got, damaged and just got blown into like little pieces. So this is what these things are. So here's one of the main structure that I made for this diorama. So this one right here is like a corner wall, heavily damaged. I mentioned those impact effects, so I added them here. I mean, you can kind of see over there in the wall, concrete wall, and this is a brick wall. And so those impact effects, yeah, works, pretty much, anywhere that you could think of. So yeah, so this one is just, a concrete wall combination with brick wall, and I added that electrical kind of like box detail over there, kind of like rusted, all beat up. And earlier I showed you this debris. So basically I made that to kind of go along with this structure, so you could create a scene where those debris are, fell off from that main wall pieces. I also added this kind of like busted pipe coming out from that broken or damaged wall, as well as those reinforcing rod that I add there too. And like I said, this is reversible, so if I reverse it on the other side, what you're gonna have is this type of wall. So there you go. It's just a concrete wall that's been heavily damaged. Okay, here's the other side. So as you can see, you can definitely just by switching the structure on this kind of side, you already feel the different type setting that you can have. And again, I mentioned that this one is held by magnets in the corner, but you can actually take them apart and make them like freestanding, kind of like this, and actually add them like that. See, and there you go. You have a kind of like one wall already over there. So it's just a matter of how you want to use it. And like I said, there's like a lot of different combination that you can use. All right, so here's the other main structure for the diorama. And again, this one is kind of like a corner wall, again, the opposite of the corner wall. And basically this one is, I designed this piece to make it kind of like a outpost type thing that's been damaged from a battle. So that's why you end up having just these little pieces. Little piece. In reality, this structure is probably longer and taller, but since it's got damage, right? So yeah, so you have this kind of like metal shutter, you know, to keep the bullets from coming through. You know, I added this kind of like electrical box slash meter with piping that's got, you know, got damaged too. Yeah, the same thing for the door. That door is kind of like metal, you know, reinforced metal. You know, this light actually works too. So if you want to do like a night shot, then that will work. And if I switch this on the other side, you're gonna have another diaphragm. So there you go. So that is another diode look over there. So again, this one is just like, you know, concrete, you know, wall. That's been, you know, damaged. So you could kind of see, you know, the use for a reversible diorama, how versatile, you know, they can be. And like I said, you know, once I start combining this with my other pieces, you know, then you end up having, you know, that kind of look, you know. And then like I said, if you end up switching this way, then that's another look, right? Or you can switch it to the side, then that could be another look. You can move this in here, and you could kind of have that, you know, that little entry on the back there. You could post figures and stuff like that, you know. And then you add those accessories that I made, you know, the debris, the cinder blocks, and those concrete columns, and you'll be able to create a lot of different scenes. All right, well, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take some photos of the different combination that I was able to pull off with this diorama, and I'll just add that at the end of this video. But yeah, you know, I hope that I was able to give you guys idea, because it just gives you a lot of opportunities for toy photography use, and put a lot of mileage on the diorama. All right.